Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Words of Wisdom Wednesday. Do you guys have any words of wisdom for me? Tell me if you have some words of wisdom. If you do, let me know. If you don't, just listen to someone else who does. You'll know if they're wisdom. If you'll know if their words are words of wisdom. Otherwise, just walk with me. Just watch the legs move. Watch the legs move. Use your legs to get up and move. Keep moving. 7 days a week, preferably. 5 is good, really good. 7, great. 5, really good. But just strive for 5, just in case you don't. That way you've done at least 3, okay? You've gotten up and you've moved at least 3. And if you aren't a person who moves a lot, look, if you get up and you walk 1 day a week, 2 days a week, that's a good start. That is a good start. So we just want you to start, right? We want you to keep moving consistently and be persistent about it. Consistently and persistently, okay? Persistency and persistently. Be persistent about the way that you move. Make sure that you're moving at least 5 days a week. Therefore, if you miss a day or 2, you've at least done 3 days, right? Watch the legs move, look at the legs move, be encouraged to move. And remember, professional and personal disclaimer, as we always give over here, as we have given for the past 2 years. Always what? Contact your primary healthcare provider, okay? Be it your medical doctor, your MD, your CRNP, your certified registered nurse practitioner, CRNP. Got it? Or your PA, your physician's assistant. Okay, they will help you. And if they can't help you, or if they feel like, because working out is an expertise, a field all of its own. It is a sister to the healthcare field. So if your doctors, your primary care doctors, your specialty doctors, and any of their assistants can't help you, guess what they'll do? They'll send you to the people who can, okay? Physical therapists, occupational therapists, certain workout coaches, certain trainers, and things like that. They are a community for you. They form an atom around you, and you are the nucleus, okay? So, before starting, restarting, or ending any workout program, plan, regimen, routine, always check with those, okay? Check with those people. Who is that? Let me see. Hey, Shawanda. Girl, this shade is funny. It's not really even the sun. It's just like, it's funny how the sun is shining and then the shade kind of kicks in and I still can't see the screen. Okay. So how you doing, Shawanda? How you doing? Welcome to the live. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. Thank you to each of you who have stopped by thus far and said hello early on in the live. Okay. We're going to get this in 30 minutes to an hour or so of walking after my workout. See, we warmed up, we exercised, we cooled down, right? So we're back on here as we do daily, almost daily. In Lions Pride, we're gonna do another walk and talk, okay? We've been doing this, okay? Not motivated by anybody. Self-motivation was the key. We've been doing this and we're gonna continue to do this. And we wanna motivate those who legitimately, truly are coming to just move. Move. Keep moving those legs and those feet one at a time. One step, another step, and another step. Keep moving. You got to start somewhere. Okay? Make sure you move those arms as well. Bend at those elbows. Okay? Move. I am doing good today. How are you doing? I'm doing good, Shawanda. I'm doing good today. Thank God. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. I hope that everybody who comes in contact with this live is doing great. Okay? We're doing good. We're doing great. And we want you guys to do good. We want you to do great. So today is Wednesday. Y'all already know what we're going to start out with. Like once we get the stuff over about the exercising and the motivation to move, okay, to work on your fitness level, we want to also remind you, stop being in competition with people, okay? You got to start where you are and you got to work up. You and your healthcare team know where you are and you work up. Listen to your body. Yes, listen to your body, okay? When it's telling you it feels a certain way, pay attention and listen. Slow down and or stop. Slow down and or stop, okay? And start again later. Start again later. Just don't wait too long. And if your body's telling you something that just really, really doesn't seem right, what do we want to do? Contact our primary healthcare provider, okay? All right? And a lot of times you already know. If you go to your doctors the way you should regularly, okay, he will already or she will already have told you what to do. You know what type of changes to make in case this happens or that happens. Sometimes we have to modify, okay? We have to modify. And remember, over half of it is in what you eat. Over half of it is in what you eat. So sometimes we have to make what? Modifications to that diet as well. That's why those nutritionists and those dietitians are key. And everything, especially when you're treating yourself, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Look, don't worry about what the next person is doing, okay? That next person may have been an athlete. You weren't. And you know you weren't. You were a couch potato. Okay? But now you see that you want to be different. You want to be better. So don't try to compare yourself to them. Okay? Your style will never be theirs. The way you do things will never be theirs. And when it comes to working out, your bodies are different. Even if you have the same body type as far as shape, form, look, you're not the same individuals, okay? Your style will be most likely have to be a little bit different. It's nice outside today. I think it's nice. I think it's nice across the country right now. I think everybody, it's like tomorrow is Halloween. And I know some places are there, it's like the weather is a lot cooler. But in a lot of places, it's just nice, warm with the breeze. It's that regular old fall. See, we have to remember that Halloween, people are saying like it's not cold, it's not cold. Well, it's only been fall for a little over a month. It's not really supposed to be freezing cold. It's not supposed to be freezing cold. Now I know that can vary depending on where you live, but it's not supposed to be freezing cold. It's just fall. Got 2 more months of fall to go. So enjoy this weather. Enjoy this weather. And if it is cold where you are, enjoy it. Still enjoy that too, because it's probably going to get a lot colder in December. It's probably going to get a lot colder November, late November into December. So enjoy the weather if the weather is nice and pretty. Get outside. What do we say? Take some deep breaths in and out. In and out. Those are the words of wisdom. Some of the same words we give all the time. Get outside. Enjoy the weather. Take some deep breaths in and out. In and out. If you can walk and talk for a variety of reasons, that's great. Okay? We are trainers over here, but we only go so far into detail about the things that we want people to do. Because, what do I always say? YouTube does not give us any licenses, certifications, formal education, clinical or medical training, right? Those of us who have that on our own, hey, it took a lot to get there. A lot of hard work and a lot of studying, okay, and a lot of money. So we have a right. We have to make disclaimers. There is a need for us to make them. Anybody else, I don't know. But there's a need for us to make them, okay? Because you never know whether it's one person in your chat, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. Your words may affect somebody. Okay? Your words may affect somebody. And the goal over here in Lions Pride is to get you to move. Not to, we do not, I repeat, we do not medically, professionally, or clinically assess, diagnose, treat, or evaluate anyone. Okay? But we do drop nuggets here and there for things that work for us. And we encourage you guys to find those nuggets that help you to gain things that work for you. We do that. We do that. I want you to find those things that work for you, that'll help you and maybe your family and friends, your co-workers, your church members, your fellow students, your classmates, and things like that. So again, if you can walk and talk, that's great, okay? If you can walk and talk, you're doing great. But listen, if you can't walk and talk, don't talk, all right? Don't talk. The important thing is to walk. Walking and talking just shows a sign of your fitness level to a degree, okay? Your stamina, your endurance. But if you cannot talk while you walk, that is fine, okay? The key is to keep moving. Hey, that green vegan. Hey, love, how you doing? The key is to keep moving, right? To be consistent and be persistent about it. To be persistent and be consistent about your consistency. All right? Y'all know what it is. Y'all heard what I said. Be consistent and be persistent about your consistency. Y'all know I make things up. That's how I am in real life. Sometimes you gotta go to the courts to get your stuff the legal way, because the next thing you know, you'll hear somebody saying the exact same thing that you said. You were trying to be original. Okay? You were trying to be original. Nobody wants to hear everybody say the same thing over and over. So thank you, Shawanda. Thank you, that green vegan, for coming through here on this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Words of Wisdom Wednesday. So again, if you guys have any words of wisdom, drop them in the chat. And if someone drops some words of wisdom in the chat, see if they can help you. See if they apply to you. Maybe they don't, but maybe they do, or maybe they can. Okay? Maybe they do, or maybe they can. All right? My words of wisdom sometimes come through the memes that I put on my community wall, right? So the words of wisdom today are focus on things that matter, right? Focus on things and people. Focus on people and things that matter. Focus on people and focus on things that matter. Look, stop focusing so much on the things, the people and the things that don't matter to you, right? Stop focusing so much on the people and the things that don't matter to you. Guess what? If they don't matter to you, most likely you don't matter to them. And if they're stressing you, or if they're stressful for you, whether it be people, things, or places, like sometimes it's the places we go, right? Whether it's on an app, whether it's a brick and mortar, sometimes it's the places we go. They stress us, right? So if they bring you a certain level of stress, that means you should stop focusing on those places. Okay? Stop focusing on those places. If certain things bring you certain levels of stress, stop focusing on those things. And most importantly, if certain people bring you levels of stress you out, people that you don't know, stop focusing. And I know as people, as human beings, that's hard for a lot of us to do, because the sad thing about people is what? People be peopling. It be people that can bring you an amount of stress that you really just you don't think about them, right? If they're stressful, you get to a point And for those who are trying to get to a point where you don't think about them, if it's someone you've never met, you shouldn't have to try to get to a point that you're not thinking about them, that they're not stressing you out. That should just come automatically, right? It's so mind-blowing and mind-boggling to see. People say that people stress them out, right? When all they have to do is no longer interact with them. No longer interact with them. If you no longer interact with a person who stresses you out, guess what will start to happen? They won't stress you out. Now, if they want to continue a one-sided interaction, guess what? They're into you. But you just keep on not being into them. You just keep on not being that into them, right? Like a movie. She's just not that into you. He's just not that into you. Sometimes it's like you can't shake a person. And it's crazy. So at that point, you have to just focus on the things that matter. Okay? Focus on the things that matter. That Green Vegan says, people at work don't want to take my ideas. What? They hating. They hating because I'm cute. That Green Vegan, look, they better stop. They better stop. They better start listening. Look, they better listen to that wisdom. They better listen to that wisdom. Yeah, you know that's how it is now. You know that is how it is. Now, if it's someone who's logical, who's reasonable, they will listen to you. But oftentimes, and sometimes too much of the time, there are people who, the whole circle or the whole square of people, or whatever you want to call it, the whole office, the whole place, they only want to take suggestions from certain people. They only want to take suggestions from certain people. It's like you can throw out a suggestion, right? And it's like nobody heard you. Or, well, that won't work because of this. That won't work because of that. But if a certain person within the clique throws out the same suggestion, it's like they just created a new world order. It's like they just created a new world order. It's like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And you're sitting there looking like, didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say that? Either verbatim or in so many words. You just said the same thing. And nobody's listening. Nobody wants to do what you suggest. But if another person says it, and it doesn't even have to be the boss, the supervisor, or team leader, or whoever. It's just a certain person who everybody likes or who everybody wants to click with. They'll say the same thing that you said, and it's the next best thing since sliced bread. You right. They all click up right. I'm new here. See, I'm telling you. That's what it is. See, sometimes that's what it is on vegan, especially on jobs. Like when you're new, you come into a job, 9 times out of 10, I'm sure you've heard this before on a job. And maybe not, but a lot of people have. One of the first things you hear is, I don't know why she coming here to work. I don't know why he coming here to work. And even if they don't say that, it's like, this place ain't what it used to be. It's going to be something negative about the place, right? But they're there. They're there. They're still there, right? So when you go to a job and people say that or they do that, you have to kind of just let that go in one ear and out the other. Because first of all, off the rip, you probably just at that job to have a job. A lot of times, they don't know that person's situation. The new person on the block may just be new, and it could be the only job that called them back. So they're going to take it and hope for the best. So they could already have it in their heads that I'm going to get something better. So you coming to them or saying this around them doesn't make it any better. Or it could be somebody who feels like they'll really enjoy the job, and then you're saying that, but you're looking like a hypocrite. Because if it's that bad, why are you still working there? Now, they'll say something like, I'm still working here because I got to pay my bills. Well, don't you think the new person has to pay their bills? Don't you think the new person has bills to pay? So you never know. Off the rip, they may not even want that job. And then you're coming with the negativity, and it's making them feel even worse. Or off the rip, they may be happy-go-lucky, thinking everything's going to be good. And then here you come being the mood killer. Here they come being the mood killer. So people love negativity. It's just like people love mess. People love negativity. If you look on the apps, people that say they don't like mess, they dwell in the most negativity. That being said, I see some channels that have mess going on, and I like the content creator. So I go and say hello, and I keep it moving because I like them. You know, you can't tell people how to be, and you don't know the interactions that they've had and why things are messy or why things are going on, right? So I won't judge. I will still go in and say hello, but because I don't like to see them like kind of going at it all the time, you know, I might hang around a little bit and say hello to a few more people, then I go because I like them. There's something about them that I like. But you have other people who say that they aren't about it at all. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to be around it. They're not going to watch it. They're not going to engage in it. They're not going to do anything. And as you're watching, because of course, like I said, I will watch. They all up and through there. They all up and through there. Guess what? That's how it is at work. That's how it is at work. At a lot of jobs. The ones who will tell you that the job isn't a good job, that the job is messy, those are the ones who have been there 5, 10, 15 even years. Some of them been there long enough to retire, but they won't because what? They like the mess at their job. They have created that culture themselves. They have been a part of it. They have helped to create it. And then you'll see that 1 or 2 employees who have been there for years and they're really quiet or they're to themselves. Because guess what? They probably like a lot of their coworkers, but they don't like the drama that their coworkers bring. So that is possible. Let me see. No, you didn't see me over there. You didn't see me over there. See, you didn't see me over there. So don't even say that. I'm gonna just even put that out there. Now you might have seen me talk to somebody. Yeah, you might have seen me talk to somebody. But no ma'am, no ham, no him, no her, no turkey, no ham, no bologna, no macaroni and cheese. Because even if it's something that now there's some stuff I just totally don't like. I'm not gonna watch them. But there are some people who are in certain sectors that you will probably see me communicate with them. But something like being in something, no. You ain't seen me in that one. No ma'am. But I will communicate with people who are parts of certain sectors. I communicate with people who are part of those in the mommy sector. I communicated with people who may be a part of that sector. I'll communicate with people who are part of the T sector, the mukbang /T, put TEA in capitals because it's mostly T. I communicate with people in that sector. But that one, and don't even throw that one out there because you know that's the one that gets the most attention. So y'all be trying to be slick. But now, I have seen people, I think sometimes when people see you in a certain content creator's chat, and that content creator may be a part of a sector, then they feel like you're in that sector. So you have to get all the notes. You have to get all the notes. Let me see. Now you ain't seen me in that sector. Not even once. I said there's There was one I'm not gonna name because of some stuff. You know, I don't even want to say their name because of stuff that they got involved in off of here, and people were taking it, maybe even start back talking about it. And see, that's the type of person I am. Certain things I'm just not gonna say, even when there's no harm meant. You might trigger people's memories. They all of a sudden start back talking about him. So there's one person in I'll say like a lit sector that's really lit. Now, I'm mad for him, but it's because we cool off the app. We cool off the app, and we're cool off the app, and he's not on right now. Again, because of some things going on that he got to get straightened out. He's not on any other platforms, so he may be in one of those lit sectors. But being in there, nah, I probably, and honestly, there's somebody who communicates a lot with that sector that's not in there either. And people see you in their chat and they think that that's what that is. So I go by what people say. If they say that that's not what they're doing, he said that's what he is, but he got some stuff going on. He got to get straightened out. But there's one that says that they're not in it. So yeah, you'll see me in that person's chat a lot. Actually, two of them. So that's the thing. A lot of times, because people like certain content creators, other people just throw them into a whole sector, and you looking like like I've seen some people that say, what the hell are they talking about a sector? Like, they don't even know what people be talking about sometimes. And they just be like, I just like him. I just like her. I be in their chat. And they see what goes on. Like, they see the drama or whatever. But they don't consider themselves, it's like that's like the only person that they really know, because that's the person that they support. So that's where you'll see them at. So I be careful about saying where I see people at, because a lot of times you can see people somewhere because they're supporting that one person. Yep. They be supporting that one person. So yeah, and I had to learn that too. I had to say, actually I didn't have to learn it. It kind of just happens, because I've been on here for so long now. It kind of happens. Like, sometimes people will be like, I ain't in that so-and-so, don't say that. So I just learned to say, okay, not to assume, because what's probably happening is people have seen them in a chat or two, or certain chats or two, and then they just want to say that they're a part of that, and they're not. They just like the content creator. So that's why I'll go in. I might mod for anybody, but usually I'm gonna say hello. I'm gonna speak to everybody, because people like to speak. People do like to speak. People do like to speak. Now, you have some people in different sectors, no matter what sector, they just claim folks anyway. You know, just because they see you say hello, or see you say hi, or you in a person's chat a lot, they just throw you in there, and that's not what it is. That's why you hear a lot of people say they're in their own sector. I don't know if you heard that, but you hear a lot of people say they're in their own sector, or they're in their own area. They'll say, they don't even like to use, that name has gotten such a bad reputation that a lot of people don't even like to use it. The term sector has gotten such a bad reputation that a lot of times people don't even like to use it. And it doesn't even matter which one you're talking about. A lot of times people be like, no, I'm not in one. I'm not in a sector. I'm myself. When you see me, you see me. That doesn't mean I'm in there. So I quickly learned what they meant by that. A few years ago, I learned what they meant by that. Because you put that stuff out there, then those people see it. They start saying, oh, she is? Oh, he is? Since when? Okay, so let's see then. And you be like, nah, nope, I ain't say it. Somebody mistook. But yes, so it's like the people love the negativity. They're not going to watch the positive stuff. We're going to watch the negative things. And a lot of times, some people don't think of things as being negative. They think of it as being entertaining. So there's a thin line between negative and entertaining. Some things can be very entertaining. They may appear to be negative, and they are negative, but there's a thin line between negative and entertaining. It can be entertaining and negatively entertaining, but once certain lines start to get crossed, it's no longer entertaining. It's just negative, period. It's just negative, period. So some things that are negative can be kind of funny, especially when all things are equal. Like if you have two people arguing with each other and all things are equal, letting them argue, do their thing, like a Tyson and Holyfield, they just going back and forth. But what happens is you always got somebody that wants to jump in for somebody grown, right? They don't know all the details. They just know which one they like the most. They don't know all the details. They just know which one they like the most. Or they just know they want to keep it going so that you can continue to provide them more entertainment. I'm a free thinker. I don't have a leg. Exactly. And that's why a lot of people say, nah, I ain't in that. Don't put me in no box. Don't put me in no sector. Don't put me in no, you may see me in there, but nah, don't put me there like I don't live there. Some people live in those places and they gladly own it. Like they're proud of it. They like it. No, hats off to them. Because to each his own. But you got some people who they don't want to be in a box or a sector or a specific label. Like you said, they don't have that specific label because even the members of that community, that neighborhood, will start to latch on and claim them. So a lot of people say that they're free, they're solo dolo, because for that very reason that you said, vegan, they're free thinkers. They're free thinkers, and they don't want to have a label. But that goes back to the negativity. You know how people like to be more negative than positive? They want to put their actions and what they would do on you. If you listen to a lot of people when they do their content or their commentary or whatever, however they do on any platform, they always judge the actions of others by what they would do. And words of wisdom, more words of wisdom, you can't judge the actions of others. You can't use what you would do or what you wouldn't do. You can't use that to judge the actions of others or the actions that others should have. You just can't do that. Or you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that, but people do. I hear so many times, well, if it were me, I wouldn't have done so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Or they'll even go so far as to say, well, the average person, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. Well, when you're dealing with people you don't really know, you only know them from what you see on the application. They don't have to think like you. They don't have to be like you, remember? Oh, thank you there, Green Vegan. I appreciate you. They don't have to think like you. So those are great words of wisdom that you said. Don't label. Stop labeling people. Because a lot of times the label could be right and they might not mind it, but sometimes not. And it's so sad to say that on social media platforms, I'm not just talking about YouTube. I know we're on YouTube. People will start to put labels on you. Thank you, that Green Vegan, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I really, really do. So, and that's you know what that is? It's kind of unfortunate and sad because it's kind of just like with society in general, right? Okay, you have certain segments or certain populations within a society that will label another population within that society, a different population, as lazy. They will label them as bums. They will label them as always having their hands out, never wanting to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And that is the craziest thing ever. That is the furthest thing from the truth. 9 times out of 10, the people within their own population or within their own community meet those qualifications. And the people that they're speaking on or the people that they're labeling have done all they can. Their parents have done all they can. Their grandparents have done all they can. They have done all they can to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, to be better, to make life for themselves and their families better. But you'll have some members of society that'll label them based off of their bigoted opinions, based off of their racist opinions, based off of their economic opinions, socioeconomic biases. Sometimes people display that. So, like when you're at work, I needed to hear this today. Yeah, and look, and when you're at work and you know you're new, you can be just as nice and pleasant about it. See, it's like my grandparents used to always say that term, nice, nasty. Sometimes people can be nice, nasty, and it's more on the side of nasty. And sometimes people can be nice, nasty, and it's so nice that you can't even say anything about the part that may kind of be a little nasty. So that's how you have to be with people sometimes. So when you're at work and you know that you've made a suggestion, right? And maybe a lot of things can happen with that. When you make a suggestion, it's like, one, nobody wants to hear you because, first of all, most of them, they have, even though they may be individual thinkers outside of work, a lot of times at work, it's almost like they become kind of brainwashed. And that's why you'll notice, like at work, you even have cliques. So they'll become kind of brainwashed to those they tend to click up with the most, or those who seem to even think most like them. But they'll ignore your suggestion for the same reason. They wanted to be the one, or they would like to have been the one to suggest what you did. And if not them, then their friend, So whenever you do that, you make a suggestion and you notice that, one, it's kind of like you're being ignored. Say, hey, in the nicest way as possible, but still with a little nasty on the end. I have made 2 to 3 suggestions and y'all seem to ignore them, but you do one of a few things. You either continue to ignore me, 2, it comes up again that somebody else suggested it and they just suggested it in different words. What is up with that? Like, why is that? Or when they do that, remind them that, y'all remember last week when we were on this subject and I said, re-emphasize what you said. Re-emphasize what you said. I think if they use my ideas and it works, it will make them feel like a failure. You know what? That is what it is. It'll make them feel like a failure because they know that it's not a failure. Your idea is a success, but they will feel like they failed because they weren't the one to throw it out there. They weren't the ones to put it on the table. So that's something within them. That's something that's within them. So what you have to do is, if they use your idea and someone takes credit for it, then remind them. Well, guys, remember in the meeting last week, or remember when I suggested you could have suggested it to one of them. And then they went behind your back later and suggested it to somebody else who would kind of make it move, like the supervisor or something like that. Say, well, I suggested that to Lisa. Just say, for instance, I'm just using the name Lisa. I suggested that to Lisa last week. So did she tell you that? Or if they come in like, oh, Lisa suggested that we whatever, and we did it and it worked. Or we're going to, then, even whether it's, even if you guys haven't found out if it's going to work or not, because guess what? If it doesn't work, you still did your part, right? You did your part. You tried to usually work is about finding solutions. Usually when we're working, it's about getting the job done or finding solutions. So when you go to work, whether it's at your own company or somebody else's company, you go to work to get the job done, through a plan of action that's already been put in place, that was probably there long before you got there. But then also plans of action often have to be changed, right? So if you know that you put it out there, because it's exactly what you said, they're afraid that in case it fails, then they don't want that on them. If it fails, they don't want it on them. But if it works, like you said, they know it's your idea, so it makes them feel like a failure. Like, why couldn't we have come up with this before? So yeah, they'll do that a lot at work. Why couldn't we have come up with this before? So instead of giving you your prompts, they're just going to ignore it. Or they're going to say somebody else came up with it. They're going to ignore it. Or they're going to say that someone else came up with it. Because it came from you, they're going to be glad that it was successful. You know what? Scratch that. Because you got some people, even when things turn out for the better, if somebody else came up with the idea and it's working, they will try all they can to do at some point in the future to sabotage it. Because like you said, they feel like a failure that they didn't create it. They didn't come up with it. And some people, so that's another way that people do you wrong. The other way is they'll say it worked and everything, but they won't give you credit for it. They'll give someone else credit for it. She says, we're a team. The crazy thing is we work with kids. Oh my goodness. I want the kids to succeed. They take everything personal. Right. You want the kids to succeed. Meanwhile, they're taking everything personal. But hey, girl, dad. Hi. I hope all is well. Lines. Pride and hello, everyone in the chat. Hey, all is good. Girl, dad. How you doing? Hope everything is well with you and baby girl. I hope you've been I know you've been throwing up some good dishes. I know it. I know you've been throwing up those good food shorts. So I hope school is going well with her. And I hope all is good. But yeah, that green vegan, it's amazing. It's amazing how, like you said, you work with kids. You want the kids to succeed. But it's the adults who can't get over themselves. They can't get over themselves. So to use something that you put out there, and if it's successful, yes, it makes them feel like a failure, which is crazy. My thing about it is, if it's a team, like you said, it's a team. So take it as a win for the team, but also give you your props because it's a win for you too. So take it as a win for the team, but it's also a win for you. How do they think people get promotions? I mean, you don't get a promotion by just going to work every day, doing what you're told to do, and that's it and that's all. That's the only thing good that you bring to the job. You come in, you're a good worker, you're on time, you do what you need to do, and you go home. Some people, that's all they want to do. Some people, that's all they want to do. Some people may not even really be thinking about promotions or things like that at the time, but somebody else takes notice, and so they may just offer you something just a step above what you already are, and you may take it. And then you start to feel like, hey, I can keep moving. Maybe I want to go to this step. A lot of times, people get afraid that if something that you put out there will work, that you'll start wanting to progress. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're I don't care if you're 60 years old. If you are 60 years old and you go to a job brand new at 60, and you say, well, I plan to retire. I know I should be retiring maybe in the next few years, but I plan to retire at 70, not 60. So within these 10 years, you know how sometimes you go to the job, people say, open up, tell us about yourself. I'm trying to let that truck go by, y'all. But you know how people say, open up, tell us about yourself? So say you're 60 years old and you go to a job and you're like, well, I know most people at 60 are thinking about retiring, but hey, the government is already increasing the retirement age anyway. You got a lot of young 60-year-olds. You look at them, you think they're 40, 45, 50, 55. So they may have a retirement plan and maybe not. But they say, hey, I feel like if I can retire at 70, I can still, if I stay in shape, I can do that 68 to 70. And maybe I can do whatever for another 10 years after that. I can get vested or something and have just that extra income for when I completely retire, right? So if a person comes in and they're 60 years old and that's their mentality, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially if they're a go-getter. Well, by 62, they may be managing, maybe assistant manager. You know, by 65, they may be manager. And by 70, they're like, hey, I'm out of here. Like I said, I wanted to just work 10 more years, have some things I wanted to get done or put in place for my family, and they retire. Next time you see them, they're at 72 coming through saying hello. You know? Girl Dad says, good to hear and all is good. Thanks. Oh, yeah, no problem, Girl Dad. No problem, no problem, no problem. That green vegan says they're not like us. That green vegan says they're not like us. I hear you, green vegan. Okay? Yep. So it's, I understand that it's a lot of different reasons. It's a lot of different reasons that certain people don't want to take. There are a lot of different reasons that some people don't want to take your suggestions. They don't want to take your advice. They don't want you to be encouraged. They don't want you to feel encouraged. And some people, it's like you haven't done a thing to them. You've never done one thing to them. On these jobs, there's racism, sexism, ageism. There's all kinds of isms. Hateism. Just hate you for nothing. They don't care how old you are. It's some people at work, they dislike the 30-year-old employee, just like they dislike the 25-year-old employee. They dislike the 60-year-old employee. You got some people who just, it's not the age, it's just them. Something about you they don't like. Maybe you remind them of an auntie. Maybe you remind them of an old friend who became an enemy. Maybe they just don't like you. And that's so crazy. Sometimes people just don't like people. They just don't like people. And I know that's possible because, like, on these apps especially, and even in real life on your jobs, wherever you are in your environments, in your community, sometimes there are people that you just don't get a feel for. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're human. Like, we're not going to feel everybody and everybody's not going to feel you. And if it's somebody that you just don't get that feel for, guess what? I like to use the word discernment a lot. So stay up on your discernment because that's probably what it is. But there is a percentage of the time where it's just you. You're just you. You're just kind of reserved because you think this person is a certain way. And maybe they got some ways that you really don't click with. Maybe they're a little loud. Not mean or rude, just kind of loud. And you don't like loud. So you kind of hang back. And then it might be a day or two where you're working together or you're around each other. And you have no choice but to be. And you truly let your guard down enough. Not like let your guard all the way down, but enough just to kind of see, well, I got to work with her today. I got to work with them today. And you realize they're not such a bad person. You realize they're not such a bad person. So when your discernment is saying no, listen, abide by it, go by it, okay, respect it, okay? But sometimes, discernment for some people, some people like to say that they just know everything. They're on top of everything, and a lot of times that is true. Like if their feelings steer them a certain way, and it's usually the right way, then hey, but if you're going to be human and realistic about it, most of us have had some times where our first mind told us something, or our discernment told us something, and we were wrong. We were wrong. And it can be something as simple as that, like somebody at the job. You're the type of person, again, you don't like loud. You like people to be happy-go-lucky, but just happy-go-lucky and loud all the time. And they don't have to be happy-go-lucky. They can be kind of just loud for no reason, like just normal conversation. They like to get close to people. Like some people don't recognize personal space. You may be one of those people. You're kind of quiet. You talk, you have conversation, but you're quiet. You're not really loud. You feel like you're at a tone that's normal, and this person's just loud. And you might not like people to really get really close to you. Well, the new person may come in, or somebody may transfer in, and they're a little bit loud. You know, they're nice, they're sharing, offering to share food, they offer to help you even. But it's just something about that loudness that you can't get over. And I'm just using loud as an example. But then not only are they loud, they like to kind of get close to you, like really close to you and kind of invade your personal space, kind of. And you know, before the pandemic, most people had a personal space. They had their, you know, like, okay, 2 to 3 feet, they don't want you any closer to them, any closer. I mean, it's just how some people are. And they respect your personal space. Because usually people who don't want you to come like no closer than 2 to 3 feet within them, they're not going to come that closer to any closer than that to you. So, you know, so maybe this person is loud. They like to kind of cross your personal space. And then you work with the like closely for a couple of days. You guys may be short staffed, or she may have to come into your area and help you. And you find out that you really kind of like her, or you really kind of like him. So, you know, such is life. Such is life. Your discernment is usually right. But I don't think anybody can say it, but to be truthful about it, if they're going to be absolutely truthful, I don't know a lot of people who can say their discernment is right 100% of the time. Maybe there are people who can say that, but you know, hello. Even if there are some people whose discernment is right 100% of the time, just make sure you follow yours, okay? Because I will say that for most of us, about 60+% of the time, it's a good thing to do. It is a good thing to do. Use your discernment. Use your discernment. So just keep doing what you're doing, Green Vegan. If you're still here, keep on making those suggestions that you're making, especially for the kids. And look, when you throw something out there and they don't want to use it, guess what? Wait a little bit, throw it out there again. And if they're still selfish and don't want to use it, throw it out there in a different way. You know how they say there's more than one way to skin a cat? There is more than one way to skin a cat. So throw it out there in a different way. And look, and if you find that you have made a suggestion and they use it and it's successful and it works, and they give somebody else credit for it, take your credit back. Take your credit back. Don't let anybody take anything, any suggestions that you make. Yes, it is teamwork. But when you realize the type of people that you're working with, you have to stand up for yourself at some point. Maybe not all the time, but there are points where you have to stand up for yourself. Remember, like I said earlier, I put up a lot of different memes, and I believe in every meme that I say. Every fight is not worth the battle. Every fight is not worth the fight. Every fight is not worth the battle. But when it is, focus on it. Every fight is not worth the fight. Every fight is not worth the battle. And every fight is not worth a war being created. And that's what's really important. Some people feel like when there's one fight, there has to now be an outright war. It only takes one fight for you to realize you're not clicking with somebody. So you don't have to have an outright war. You don't. But when you need to stand up for yourself, stand up for yourself and don't care who likes it or not. Because again, half the times the people who don't like it, they only don't like it because they're closer to the person who stepped on your toes and you defended yourself against. They don't like it because they feel like, oh, you should not have defended yourself. A lot of people really truly feel that way. They feel like people shouldn't defend themselves. Or they feel like, well, they should have fought back the way they would have fought back. You can't tell people how to do things. No one particular person is the barometer by which another person should judge the way or rule the way or measure the way they handle things. No one particular person at all. But a lot of people think that. A lot of people think that if they go out and do something, or if they have an encounter or a situation, no, they're not going to allow people to tell them what to do, unless it's somebody they truly respect and they may feel like, okay, let me pump my brakes, let me listen to so-and-so. But when you really don't know people, they have some nerves. some nerves to think that what they would do should stand as the barometer or the ruler or the thermometer that measures what your actions should be. No, sir, no, ma'am. No turkey or ham. Not at all. It's been 56 minutes. 56 minutes. Thank you guys for coming along on the walk and talk with me. We do this all the time. And this is the only one that's going to be like this. This is the only one that's lion's pride. Okay? This is the only one that's done with lion's pride. And this is the only one that's done with that vibe. This is the only one that's done with lion's pride vibe. So y'all, look at these legs move, and hopefully you will get up and move your own. And I give you guys so many ways to move, don't I? We're gonna go over them. We always go over them at least one time. You can walk. You can walk, you can walk, you can walk. Okay? You can skip. You can hop. You can jog. You can run. You can get on your walking pad. You can get on your treadmill. You can get on your stationary bicycle. You can get on your regular bicycle, pad up, helmet up, and ride around the neighborhood. Okay? You can get on your elliptical. You can get on your mini stepper. Okay? You can do that. You can walk in place. Okay? You can walk around the biggest room of your house and do several laps. You can go outside. If it's too hot or too cold, don't walk around the block. Walk around your house. If you're if you're in an apartment, walk around your apartment complex. Stay close enough to home so that if you get too hot or if you get too cold, you can go inside. So you can swim, you can hike, you can play basketball, you can play flag football, okay? There are so many things you can do. Walking is just the easiest thing. Walking is just the easiest thing. I also encourage you guys to get at least, I encourage you to get at least 2 days of weight training in. Resistance weight training, okay? At least 2 days. We do 4 or 5, but I encourage you to do at least 2. Upper body one day, lower body the next day, okay? Upper body one day, lower body the next day. Give your muscles a day, you know. We do 4 because we're going to do upper body 2 days and lower body 2 days. We do arms and legs sometimes on like that weekend. But hey, whatever you want to do, however you choose to do it, I suggest at least 2 days of resistance weight training, okay? 1 day for your upper body, 1 day for your lower body. But we do 4, 2 days for each, okay? You want to do that upper body 1 day, give it a rest, and do the lower body the next day. The next day, give the lower body a rest and go back to your upper body, okay? Before doing anything, we're going to what? What word do we use? Radar. R is for what? Stretching. A is for what? The rest of your warm-up. D is for your workout. A is for your cool down. And R is for what? Finishing up that cool down by stretching. You want to start and end with stretching. Hey, Retirement Days. Hey, Betty. How you doing? Welcome into the chat. Welcome into the chat. Nice to have you. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday to you. We've been on here for about an hour. We've just been talking about things at work. How things go at work. Like that green vegan. You know, sometimes she said, you know, you can have an idea at work and a lot of things can happen. They don't want to give you credit for the idea, or they don't want to use your idea because it's you. And like she said, she's the newbie on the block. So if they use your idea, it makes them feel like a failure. Like with her being new, to use her idea, which would most likely absolutely work, they'd rather not use it because then it makes them feel like a failure. They've been there all this time. They've been there all this time. And it took a new person to come along to show them something else that'll work. People are so funny. So she is absolutely right. Sometimes on a job, people won't give you credit, or don't want to use your ideas because it makes them feel like a failure. Sometimes they don't want to use your ideas, especially if it works. If you come in, you're new, and you tell them, well, let's try this, or have you guys tried that, and it works, oh yeah, they feel like a failure. Because it took somebody else, and they shouldn't feel like that. Like she said, it's a team approach. They should feel like, okay, we got more hands on deck. We got new eyes, fresh eyes on the situation that we've been not finding a solution for. But if they take her idea and it works, they feel like a failure. That's crazy. That's crazy. Some people don't want to use your ideas because they fear that if they work, you'll get credit. You'll get credit. That is crazy. That is crazy. So what? Who gets the credit? Like she said, at the end of the day, yes, an individual may get credit, but as far as the work, as far as the job, it's a team effort. It is a team effort. There's nothing wrong with a person getting credit for something that they came in and solved, or they offered fresh new ideas and they worked. Like I said, they just came in with fresh eyes and fresh hands, maybe looked at it in a different way. And sometimes that might be another thing is, sometimes, especially when you're new and you suggest something that works, sometimes the other people might be a little salty because they did suggest it at one point and nobody paid any attention. So that might be it too, Green Vegan. Sometimes it's like, if it works, they look like they failed. Maybe that's what they think. But sometimes people may have a little saltiness because they're like, I suggested this to the team, to the crew, to the staff 3 months ago. Nobody paid me any attention. Or they didn't do it in a way that would work. But she introduces it and it's all good. So sometimes people feel like maybe their idea wasn't accepted, and the idea that you had was, and it was, but it was basically the same thing that they thought, and it's been out there before. So you just never know. It's hard when you're trying to, when you're at a new job. It's hard, and it doesn't have to just be a new job. It could be kids in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, or something. You know, you join a new Girl Scout crew. Is that what they call them? Group, Boy Scout group. You're new to the area. So these Boy Scouts and these Girl Scouts have been together for 2 years, 3 years, like since 2nd grade. You're now in 5th grade. You moved to the area, and you know how to do certain things from your troop back in your hometown that they aren't doing. Maybe not that they can't do it, they just haven't been doing it. So you suggested to the leader, and you guys start doing it. And you're going to have some of the boys, they're going to be like, they're going to think you're the best thing ever. And then you're going to have 2 or 3, maybe even 3 or 4, who are going to be so ticked that the new person is getting all that love. That the new person is getting all that love. It's just crazy like that. People be peopling. From the babies to the elderly. From the babies to the elderly. We all have our ways. Yes, babies, they're fresh and they're new. But look, they have a mama and a papa. And a lot of times, that the ways of the mama and papa are just naturally in them. They're just naturally in them. You could have 2 cousins. Y'all ever been in a situation where grandma was watching your babies and they're like first cousins or second cousins, they're around the same age? One of them is so quiet and sweet. The other one is sweet, but they're rambunctious as heck. Like, they get into everything. It's just, and that's how their mom is. And the other one's mom is rambunctious too, but his dad is really, really quiet. So, even the little ones, we have differences. And sometimes people can't always accept those differences. They want you to be the way they want you to be. But those are the main people, though. You couldn't change them for anything in the world. You couldn't change them for anything in the world. So it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's October 30th. Tomorrow is October 31st. The leaves are brown, orange, red. Some of them are a little like, what do you call it? I don't know. They're brown. Some are browner than others. Some are browner than others. So if you like this fall weather, if you like this season, like what do they say, harvest, the fall harvest, this harvest season, I know that you really, if you like that this time of the year, I know that you're really enjoying yourself these days, especially when it's really nice outside. Especially when it's really nice outside. And if you haven't gotten outside, if you haven't taken the time to go outside, remember, go outside. Go outside. Take some deep breaths. In, then out. In, then out. Whatever you do, whether you're a subscriber or a content creator, do it for you. Right? Do it for you. So if you just want to walk, you just want to jog and don't talk, do that. If you want to talk. If you want to dance in place, you want to sweep, go live and sweep. Sweep up the house. Sweep up your home. Whatever you want to do, just move. Move. Just move. Get up and move. Move your body. Work your body. Make sure you don't hurt your body. That's the motto. That's one of the mottos over here, right? Move your body. Work your body. Make sure you don't hurt your body. What's the other one? Over here, working out is like eating. My warm-up is my appetizer. My workout is my entree. And my cool down is my dessert. And I come on here and we have a second dessert in Lions Pride when we do our walks and talks. That's why we're Lions Pride. Let's walk and talk. Because that's what I want to do. Whether you talk back or not, we're going to talk. Sometimes people just want to talk and they just want to throw out nuggets. You may not catch a nugget, but the next person might. And that's why you want to be careful on social media platforms when you throw out nuggets. Make sure that they're nuggets that will be beneficial and helpful to people. But hey, people, anything I say or do over here, please, you do so at your own risk, right? Take the nuggets, take the information. What are the platforms for? What does the copyright say? Educational, teaching, informative, entertainment purposes only, right? So these are things that I know will work because I've seen them work, okay? But we don't know if they'll work for any particular person who catches this live or this replay. So you got to be smart about the things that you do. When you're listening to anybody, you got to be smart about the things that you say. If you know that you haven't been professionally trained or educated, technically you're not licensed, you don't have a certification, you better make sure you darn sure study what you say before you just go and repeat what someone else says. Study it, because you have people who have been trained, who have been educated, who have been licensed. Sometimes their information is false, and a lot of times it's not false by fault of them. It's false because they maybe haven't done their continuing education. See, when you have certain fields, we have to do continuing education because things change at the drop of a dime. Things change. Certain ways you should be lifting weights today, they may change that next year and have a new way to lift, right? Certain things that you should be eating, it may change. I thought my phone went out, y'all. It may change. Maybe you need to be eating a different way, right? But to find out the most beneficial way for you when you aren't trained clinically or professionally or medically is to contact your what? Primary healthcare providers. And we say one more time, we say it's at least twice. Your MD, your medical doctor, your nurse practitioner, your PA, your physician's assistant, your specialty doctors, your coaches, your nutritionists, your dietitians. Hey, even your weight trainers at the gym. There are trainers at the gym. They know a lot of things as well. And you don't need to be going to them for your medical needs, but they can tell you things. And you want to make sure that you have proper form. Whenever you're working out, make sure that you have proper form. It's so funny when you see some things being done. It's funny till it's not funny because the form is so ill. The form is so not correct. But sometimes people don't have proper form because it's what works for them. Sometimes it may look like it's improper because they have to modify. But if you have a trained eye, you would know the difference between modification and a person just not doing something correctly. And that's why even when you modify, make sure that it's okay. Because you may be doing something because it feels better or feels easier to do it that way. But if it's not on the list of modifications that they've given you, you need to check and see if it's okay. Something as simple as squats. Some people do deep squats. Deep, deep, deep. Okay? Some have those feet way, not shoulders width apart, but way, way apart. Depending on what they do in their lives, that may be good for them. It may not be strenuous on their knees, depending on the type of training they had. Certain injuries they may or may not have had. They may be back at 100%, 90%, and that's good for them. But you can always modify those squats. You don't have to drop deep if you can't, if you shouldn't, and if you're just now starting out. You can use something for support. Hold on to something and squat. Do the mini squats. Do what they would call a baby squat. As long as you're doing something and making sure that what you do is not hurting you. It's not causing you more harm. Okay? We want it to be good. We don't want it to cause any harm. We want to what? Work our bodies. But make sure you don't hurt your body. Okay? Look at the legs move. Watch the legs move. Moving. Left, right, left. Get you a cadence. Believe it or not, I know a lot of you know that, but there is a cadence to good walking. There is a cadence to good walking. See, a lot of times people think that things are simple. Some things are simple. But sometimes there are just simple little changes that you can do to the simple things to improve what you're doing. Sometimes the simple modifications, or not even modifications, just the simple ways of doing things can help you. Okay? With something as simple as walking. Use that booty when you're walking, okay? A lot of people like to switch so hard. Anyway, but hey, we're not talking about that hard switching. You have to know what you're doing, okay? Use those glutes. Use those glutes and help yourself. When you come to a standstill, keep moving. You slow down a little bit, but keep moving. And you don't have to walk so fast. We want a good brisk walk now. You do want it to be good and brisk. You want it to count. You want your walk to count for something. You want to make it count, And it depends on what your goals are, what you're exercising for, what you're walking for, right? Just like with weightlifting. If you want to look like a competitor, you got to go heavier. But like the ladies, most of us, if we're not in competition or something like that, we're not competitors, professional competitors, because there are some competitors. But if you're not professional competitors, you just want to be toned. You just don't want that flab flopping. And maybe you can't stop it from being all flabby, but maybe you can improve it. Some people are moving for weight loss. Some people are moving for mental exercise. They want to exercise mentally. It's all about the mentality, their mental, their emotional health, their mental health, and their physical health. Okay? Sometimes people are moving for their emotional, their mental, their spiritual, and their physical health. And if that's the case, you don't have to be brisk. You can just stroll along. Just stroll along. But if you're exercising for all that and you're trying to get in good cardiovascular activity, you're trying to kind of increase your fitness level, put a little pep in your step. Put pep in your step. Put some pep in your step. Make sure you're eating right. When you're done exercising, replenish those muscles. That's one reason we're stretching, right? You want to release some of that lactic acid before and after. Before and after. And during. If you need to stretch during your exercising, while you're exercising, during your exercises, if you need to stretch, stretch. You'll know what it feels like. This might feel a little bit tight. You've been going good, but you may have been going for a while. You may start to feel like you're tightening up, something like that. Slow down, take the time to stretch, and start back. Start back. You guys hear the birds? They're so loud today. Our birds are loud today. So y'all hear the birds? They're loud today. So words of wisdom. Every battle is not worth the battle. But for the ones that are, every battle is not worth the fight. Every fight is not worth the battle. Every fight is not worth the fight. Look, the ones that are, take those on. Take those on. Because if it's a fight that's worth the fight, most likely it's going to be beneficial for you. Every fight is not worth the fight. Every battle is not worth the battle. You'll know if it's beneficial. You'll know if it's beneficial. If it stresses you out, get your heart rate up. Look, when you're in a fight, when you're in a battle, that heart rate's going to go up. But you don't want your heart rate instantly going up for the wrong reasons. That's not what we want to do. We want that heart rate to go up the way it does when you're exercising. That's why you do the warm-up, to gradually get it up. Get that heart and the rest of those muscles and your body, your mind ready to work. Okay? You do that by stretching. You go out of your stretch into a light cardio. Then you go into your workout with a heavier cardio and whatever else it is that you're going to do, right? So that's how your heart rate gradually increases the way that it should. But when you get mad, you're screaming, yelling, hollering, popping off. That's not the way you want your heart rate to go up. Going from resting heart rate to 150, no. You want it to go from resting around 80 to 100, depending on the person. Through that warm up, get it to about 90 to 110, 120. And then go into your workout. And you can figure out what your heart rate should be, okay, for your age and your gender. There are many, many tools on social media. Well, not social media, but online. Social media too. That can help you determine what your heart rate should be for your age. Y'all listening, ladies? I know you are. I'll hear you later. For your age and your gender. Okay? One of them is the maximum heart rate, meaning whatever you're doing, your heart rate should not go over that number. No matter what your reasoning is, what the reasons are that you're exercising. Now, your target heart rate depends on what you're trying to do. If it's just for fitness, you can be on the lower end of the range. If it's to lose weight, you need to be on that upper end of that target heart rate. It's a range. It's a range. So find out your starting numbers. Find out what you are right now. And, you can't always look at those general scales as far as what's obese, what's not, what's overweight, and what's not. You always got to make sure you go by your height, your weight, things like that. And first and foremost, also, any health conditions that you may have. So that's why we don't go into a lot of detail over here, right? Because we have to be careful that we're putting out nuggets. We are putting out nuggets. We're telling you some starting points, but we want you to research those nuggets and then talk with your primary care provider, your primary health care provider. Talk to them. Okay? That's what we want you to do. So yes, y'all, the birds are nice today. They're loud and chirpy. They're quiet right this second, but they have been kind of loud today. So always figure out what your maximum heart rate is for your age and gender, and figure out what your target heart rate is. It is a range, depending on what your goals are, okay? Depending on what your goals are, it is a range. Look at your Fitbit. Most reputable sources. Always, like I said, when you get the nuggets out of the chat or out of the replay or out of the live, check reputable sources. The .orgs, the .edus, okay, the .govs, check those. There are some good sources with .coms, .nets. There are some good sources. Just make sure that you talk with even if it's not your primary healthcare provider, talk with a legitimate healthcare provider, okay, before starting things, restarting things, before stopping. It's just like when I tell you with exercising, before starting, stopping even, or restarting. You were in the military 10 years ago, you haven't run the past 7, 8 years. You can't run like you did 12 years ago. You will be able to again, but don't just jump out there and do that. Okay? Just because your neighbor does something every morning, can you do it every morning? Yes. Can you do it at their pace? Maybe, maybe not. If you've been doing it inside, then heck yeah, you can. But if you're just starting, look, let me tell you something. Sometimes when we're talking about neighbors, y'all, the competition is so funny. Don't get out there and let your neighbor put you in a competition. They know that they've been walking or jogging or running every day for the past 12 months or forever, and you want to start, and then, of course, you're always behind, or, you're not really even walking or running or jogging with them, but, of course, they're noticing that you're starting. They may throw out little silly comments to you, because people are just peopling. People just be peopling, right? But don't let that bother you. And definitely don't get into a competition with them, because several things can happen. You can hurt yourself, which you don't want to do, or you can become discouraged. Now, when you start keeping up with them a little bit more, guess what? If they're good people, they're going to be glad. If they're bad people, competitive people in a negative way, they're not going to like that. That's why I tell you guys, exercise for you. Do what you do for you. Stop trying to compete. Don't try to compete. Do what you do for you. You know your fitness level. You know your health conditions. And listen to your body. We've already told you what. Plan it all out with your primary healthcare provider. We've told you that. So we want you to listen to your body. Okay? Compete with the person that you were the day before. All right? The week before. The month before. The year before. But never compete with somebody else, because you can't compete where you don't compare. A lot of times you don't even know what you're competing with. You don't know what these people have done in their past. You don't know what they do every day. Maybe you see them jogging every day in the neighborhood, but they could be on their treadmill every day as well. They can be on their biking side every day as well. Okay? They can probably out-hop a rabbit, right? So if you're trying to put yourself in competition with them, not knowing their history, if they were an athlete in the past, a cheerleader, a gymnast, a track star, a basketball player, softball player, baseball player, you're competing with someone you can't compare with. So don't do that. Don't waste your time. You'll find yourself wasting your time. Compete with the person that you were the day before, the week before, the month before, 6 months before, 12 months before. And when I say that, I mean mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Because I'm about to get off in a few minutes, but I'm going to tell y'all a little bit before I get off. Okay? Don't let bothered people bother you. They'll swear you're bothered, but they'll always have your name in their mouth, or they're always saying something to you or about you, and you've gone on about your business. So don't let bothered people bother you, and don't you bother anybody either. Okay? Don't y'all bother anybody. Don't let stressed people stress you out, because that's their goal, right? Misery loves company. And always remember, that is the old time, an old saying, but sometimes it's not so much as that misery loves company. Sometimes miserables, not misery, but miserables, as in people, they like to see other people miserable, right? So they'll be good, nice, sweet, and kind to you. They'll get you over there in their lounge, their spot, their place, their area, their location. Get you to feeling comfortable for a few minutes, few hours, few days, couple of months. Next thing you know, they're unzipping that sheep's clothing off, and the wolf is coming out, right? The wolf is coming out. And when you see that wolf, grab your grip and go. G-Y-G-A-G. Grab your grip and go. G-Y-G-A-G. Okay? You get out of there. Get out of there. Quickly. Quickly. And don't hesitate. Leave, okay? Leave. And if they have found themselves in your location, put them out. Put them out. Just like you don't allow people to visit you at home, don't allow people to visit your platform's home, okay? Because the main ones that don't like you, or don't like what you do, don't like what you stand for, or don't like, we were talking about earlier, the drama and this and that, they don't just come by and say, hey, and dip on. They soak it in. They're everywhere. They're right there. Okay, so sometimes you got to put them out of your platform's home. So on that note, thank you guys for coming through here. Betty from Retirement Days, please check her out. Retirement Days, comfort, foods, and more. The name explains it all, okay? That Green Vegan, thank you again. I appreciate you for joining the membership. You are appreciated. Girl Dad, thank you for coming through, bro. Thank you. And Shawanda Williams. Shawanda, of course, Shawanda. Beautiful Shawanda came through here. Beautiful That Green Vegan. Beautiful Betty. Thank you, ladies. And the handsome Mr. Girl Dad, thank you for coming through as well. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate the ones who came through, who just listened for a few seconds, a few minutes, or however long you were here, because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to multitask and make me a part of your multitasking. And you hung around here for a little bit. So I thank you and I appreciate you. There goes That Green Vegan with the green hearts. Look, when you see those green hearts, I don't care, wherever I see a green heart, I think of That Green Vegan, okay? I know we got green, pink, white, black, brown, blue. We got all kinds of hearts, right? But when I see the green hearts, I think of that green vegan, even if it's somebody else dropping the hearts. That's just what, look, it fits so well with the name, okay? It fits so well with the name. Y'all, it's starting to feel the wind is starting to pick up. It feels so good. I'm telling y'all, don't complain about the weather, okay? Don't complain about the weather. It's fall. It's fall. Okay? It's that time of year where you can still wear shorts, flip-flops. Look, you can catch a nice breeze. Throw on a light jacket as it gets later in the evening sometimes. But hey, you can still wear shorts. Reasonable shorts up until a certain time, okay? Because look, they don't wear shorts anymore. They wear bikinis. Okay? People don't wear shorts anymore. People be thinking shorts are short. Those are good. People wear bikinis now, okay? It's not just the bottom rims hanging out anymore, right? It's the buttocks. It's not just the bottom rims hanging out anymore. It's the full-blown buttocks hanging out. Go to a college campus, you'll see. Look, go to your local Walmart. Just like you see them in the wintertime, there's nothing wrong with wearing a pair of pajamas to Walmart in the wintertime. If they are truly clean, okay? But y'all know what we be seeing in the stores. These people be fresh up out of the bed with their pajamas on in Walmart and Target, okay? Dollar General. Y'all stop that. Stop that. Is there any decency anymore? Or is it just all things go? Like, is it just all things go? Hey. Is it just like all things go, right? All systems go. Good systems, bad systems. Well, look, it's the holiday season, y'all. We want to be cozy. Sometimes you like take a shower or a good long bath and you get out and you put your pajamas on in the fall. In the summertime, any time of the year, but I especially notice it in the fall. We get cozy with the good pajamas on, and there's nothing wrong with that. But let them be clean, okay? Don't let them be your 2 or 3 day old pajamas that you slept in for the past 2 or 3 nights. Let them be clean. You walking all over the store, bumping into people with them dirty clothes on. Don't do that. Y'all know the holidays are coming up. The stores are going to be packed. Okay? You know what? Ever since the delivery services, I don't use them, but I know a lot of people use the Walmart delivery services, and I guess Uber and all these places have all these delivery services. Some people don't go to the grocery store. But if I did use them, I would not use them during the holidays. I would not use them during the holidays, because during the holidays, there are certain things that I want, and I'm specific to it. I don't want any replacements. If I can't find Land O'Lakes butter at Walmart, I'm headed to Target. If it's not at Target, I'm headed to Publix. Yes, I will drive around. If it's not at Publix, I'm headed to Kroger's. I don't want replacement for my Land O'Lakes butter when I'm about to make my sweet potato pies, about to bake a cake. See, I don't do a lot of baking, but my mom and my aunties and my grannies knew how to bake. So even those of us who didn't stay in the kitchen all the time while they were baking, we got to enjoy that taste. So when we did start to bake, we made sure it was just right, okay? So, and look, just because it may not always turn out pretty doesn't mean it's not good. So, but we know what we need to use, okay? And Land O'Lakes is the bee's knees, okay? When you want to bake something, Land O'Lakes. So I don't use those delivery services because I don't want them to get replacements. I want my Land O'Lakes. I want my Smart Balance. Due to the cholesterol ratio, I want my Smart Balance. And I want my Land O'Lakes because, yes, it is per butter. We don't be using it like that. We use it during the holidays, okay? So I have to stay stocked on both. And I am, if I just can't find the Land O'Lakes, I will use the Smart Balance to bake. But it's got to be for baking, the holiday season, Land O'Lakes. We about to make some pies and some cakes. It's got to be Land O'Lakes. Okay? It's got to be Land O'Lakes. Everything else, Smart Balance will do. All right? Smart Balance will do. Those are the top two. All right? You want to be on the healthier side, get that Smart Balance. But hey, if it's the holidays and you about to splurge, get that Land O'Lakes. Get that Land O'Lakes. Look, don't y'all go and buy all the Land O'Lakes, okay? Don't go out and buy all the Land O'Lakes, and don't go out and buy all the Smart Balance. Matter of fact, I might need to run to the grocery store and stack my freezer. If you don't want to do your own homemade pies, pie crust, the homemade pie crust, get those Pillsbury. You better get those Pillsbury. Those already made come in handy. But they run out of those first usually. So if they run out of those, get the ones in the box and unroll them. Get the ones in the box and unroll them. So you can get that peach cobbler done. And then look, if you end up waiting too long and you can't find any pie crust, whether it's those already made or whether it's those in the box, that means you got to pull out that rolling pin. You got to pull out that rolling pin. You got to pull out that flour and that baking powder. And you got to get to making some homemade pie crust. When you want to cook that cornbread for that cornbread dressing, you better have that buttermilk on deck. You better have that buttermilk on deck. Some put a little buttermilk in the mac and cheese. Some do the sour cream. So y'all better make sure that you're stocked up, okay? You better make sure that you're stocked up. Make sure that you're stocked up. So I did one more lap, y'all. It is an hour and 38 minutes. So we're about to get up out of here, okay? Y'all know what it is. I wish you peace, positivity, and prosperity. Because what? Why? Why do I wish you that? Because I truly wish it. I just truly wish it. First and foremost, I truly wish that to you. To all people. Those known and unknown. Those friendly and not friendly. The more peace a person has, the more they leave everybody else alone. The more peace a person has, the more, hopefully, they leave everybody alone, okay? And if you're going to bother somebody, bother them in a good way. Thank you, that Green Vegan. I appreciate you, sis. If you're going to bother somebody, bother them in a good way. How many subscribers do you have now, that Green Vegan? Because I know you've been putting out content, so I'm sure that your subscriber count is growing. I got 4 channels. My subscriber count is dropping on 2 of them because I'm getting people to leave to come to a different one for a whole different. You got to put yourself in different algorithms. And sometimes your channel will get so caught up in an algorithm, you can unsubscribe, you can undo all that stuff, and they still will recommend you. Simply because, like, remember I was saying earlier, there are some people I like to speak to. So if I go into their chat to speak, then that's all it takes. That's all she wrote. You're still going to be in a particular algorithm. And that's why a lot of times people think that you're in certain areas a lot. There may be 1 or 2 areas that you're in, or, 3 or 4. Oh, y'all hear that? I don't even know what he needs. There may be 3 or 4. So even if you just go in and say hello, YouTube is going to throw you over there. They're going to recommend you to them. They're going to recommend them to you. So if you ever want to change, you have to do another channel. You have to do another channel. Every one of your subs. Look, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. If you know every one of your subs, I'm telling you, that's great. That's great. Because we don't know a lot of the times we don't know people. And it is a social media platform, social media, I get it. But a lot of times you'd much rather not have been social with some people, okay? You'd much rather not have been social with some people or them social with you. But it's a learning process. It's not even really a learning curve. It's a learning process. Oh my God, I would get hundreds of views for the crazy stuff. Yeah, you would. Look, you would. And that's the sad part. That's what I was talking about earlier. So many people that say they don't want to do this and they're not going to do that. And this is this and this is this and this is this. And they're right there catching every drop. Like, you may not even see it. And the first thing they'll say was, well, how do you know if you're not there? Because sometimes when you go to maybe want to leave a comment when the thing is over or say hello, you just decide not to because there's somebody that's always there, and not just one, but everywhere. So it's like you have to get a whole new channel and just go and start focusing on totally different things. And so sometimes you'll lose subscribers that way, but that's okay, especially when you know why you're losing them. If you know why, that's a good thing. So, and YouTube knows what's up. They know what's legit. They know what's not. And sometimes when you change the type of channel you have, you're going to lose some subscribers because you're trying to change. And that's, you're doing something. If you start changing, you're doing something they're not used to, people will go away. And that's just not with beef and drama. That's like if you were start out as a cooking channel and now you want to become a traveling channel and you rarely show yourself cooking. You may show yourself eating, but you rarely show yourself cooking. Well, you got some people who they there for the cooking. They want the tips. They want to see the dishes. It helps them sometimes mentally. But you're just traveling now. Some of them will be loyal and stay because they just like you as a content creator. But some will go. And I just learned just by being on here how to navigate and allow those people that will leave when you start switching up, how to point them in the direction that you want them to go. You make contact with them, okay? And you make sure you don't have contact with the ones that you don't want to go. Everybody can't go. Just like you can't go everywhere, a lot of times you don't want everybody to go with you. Yes, I think you should. And if you do, I think that you should go like in somewhere you want to go, but maybe a totally different direction from what you're doing. Now some people like for their channels to kind of coexist. They like that. It's like people who have like teaching channels or do-it-yourself type channels. They'll tell you, come on over here, let me teach you how to do whatever around the house. Like an auto body mechanic or something. He may be a mechanic and he has all this stuff is about cars on one channel, but then he may be like a fixer-upper as well. Or like with the ladies, you may do a lot of shopping hauls, but then you may have a channel where you sew, you knit, you make things, or you're kind of like a fashionista, so and your shopping hauls are mostly like just when you're going to shopping for food or things around the house, or you may want to have one channel designed specifically for clothing and things like that, or decorating your home. So you can mix them up and kind of have them like follow me here if you want to see more of this, and follow me here if you want to see me do more of that. But if you want it to be kind of like totally different and you want totally different subscribers, try to make it totally different. Try to make it totally different. And you can make it work. Especially if you have someone who is willing to, some people don't need someone helping them with the channel, right? But especially if you have someone willing to help you. Like I have someone that helps me with the gaming channel. This channel was just my channel at first. Then I started doing other things and I got subscribers that were liking that stuff. So when I wanted to send them to a different one, I just told them, please come to this one instead. I can post my goofy stuff. People love old people dancing. Yep, they sure do. Yep, they sure do. You can do that. You can post like a lot of silly things, goofy things, things that make you laugh, things that put you in a good mood. You know, things that people like to see, and that's people love to watch little kids, babies, the elderly, dancing of any age. Like when people dance, some people, even if you can't dance, some people will still follow you. They just like to see people just kind of put themselves out there and be silly sometimes. But sometimes that's what people need. And if that channel is kind of based around that type of thing, you know, and maybe throw some stuff in there that's a little different from time to time, but that's your focus. People will come because that's what they want to see, you know. And again, people love to watch babies, toddlers, little kids, teenagers do their own thing. Look, teenagers, we don't have to try to start a channel and have our teenagers on there because they can start a channel and blow it up. Okay? Blow it up meaning expand it, YouTube. Expand it, okay? Have a massive following. That's what we mean by blow it up, YouTube. They can do that. But sometimes you have a mom or a dad that'll do a channel with their teenagers, kind of like dancing and stuff like that, kind of like dressing the part, all kinds of, kinds of things, different things. And the elderly. People love to see good, healthy, elderly fun. Okay? Good, healthy, elderly fun. So thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate you. I hope that you join me tomorrow in Lions Pride for the next Let's Walk and Talk in Lions Pride. Oh yeah, I had to turn that down. Her music was loud. See, if I don't always turn it down when the music is loud, but if the music is, I know you'll be able to hear every song and every word. Not every song, but every word coming out of the entertainer's mouth. Yeah, we gotta turn that down. We gotta try to mute that if we can. But okay, y'all, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next Let's Walk and Talk in Lions Pride, where only we do it like Lions Pride does it over here in the Let's Walk and Talk Pride. Okay, bye, y'all.